So a while ago on my other videos in the comment sections, someone asked me why my DMT depictions are somewhat scary and sinister looking, at least some of them. And I wanted to address why I specifically choose those, I guess, archetypes or motifs and why it shows up in my trips, and I think the reason for what's going on and the implications of that stuff. So a lot of people, especially the Christians and all of that, use the theory that since it's showing you scary imagery sometimes, then that means the whole thing's evil and it's demonic and stuff like that. And obviously I understand that progression, but for me, it's I actually trust it more because it doesn't just show the light, it also shows the darkness. Because remembering that Carl Jung quote where he said, one doesn't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but making the darkness conscious. That's a bit of a paraphrase, but you get the point. It's all about bringing to light the darkness in the world, or the scary parts of it, to better understand it so that you can, I guess, develop systems to cope with it and not try to hide from it. Because I mention this because my mom specifically always gives me a hard time about my artwork because she believes that it's sinister and something that's just demonic and stuff like that, so she doesn't really want me to work on it. And anytime I'm using her computer because my Photoshop doesn't work or whatever, she says take that stuff off my computer and whatnot. And you know, it's just her own phobia, but she doesn't really understand it. She thinks that she can just avoid the darkness, and somehow that makes you somehow alright, and it just doesn't make sense. I don't believe that that's a right philosophy. So she keeps telling me, you know, to draw Jesus and stuff like that, but to be honest, Jesus is something really boring to me. I don't really want to do that, so I want to move far away from that as much as possible. But that being said, I do like to incorporate angelic type archetypes and things with the more sinister and scary looking horror stuff, because I feel like there's a good contrast that if you can mix those two, then you can have a really good depiction of how the world really is. There's a mixture of the yin and yang, the duality of it, or I guess light and dark has to balance out in those specific things. I should mention that I do enjoy a lot of horror stuff. That's why psychedelics are great for anyone that's into horror, or even a horror writer, or someone who works in movies and things like that, because it really is able to inspire a lot of that imagery and really take it to the next level. I've seen plenty of stuff with DMT and other psychedelics that are just the top level horror stuff, and it's great. It's amazing. I like it. I wanna live in a world where I don't have to give such weight to sinister looking things, and I can just enjoy horror movies without having to worry about it somehow infecting my life, because that's my mom's philosophy, is that if she watches anything that's scary, then it's going to make her life miserable, or it's going to keep her in a miserable thing. But I think the whole holding on to Jesus thing is what's causing that. But you know, that's another story for later. But I just wanted to explain to you guys why I choose to incorporate those archetypes and different imagery, and hopefully other people can understand that and not try to chirp me out for it. It's usually just maybe religious types. Actually, the first guy that mentioned it wasn't even religious. He said that it was good art, but he was just wondering why it looked sinister. And I'm just trying to balance those two archetypes as well as I can. And hopefully, when I get a little bit better, I can, in terms of my technical ability, I can make really gripping imagery that's a lot more penetrating to the imagination, I think, or is able to really make people wonder about things and start maybe even getting inspired. I don't know. It's gonna take a while. It's a work in progress, obviously. So we're, I just gotta have to keep at it, keep working on it, and keep trying to remember my trips and try to draw them. So I will keep you guys updated with that, and I'll see you in the next video.